teams that need quarterbacks at 1, 2, and 3 in the draft. Maybe 6 with the New York Giants. Then again at 11 with Minnesota, 12 with Denver, 13 with Las Vegas. That's 7 in the first 13 that have some type of quarterback need. That doesn't even include the Seattle Seahawks, potentially the Los Angeles Rams, the Dallas Cowboys, and others. So the demand for quarterbacks exceeds the supply, which should drive up the number in the first round. And then the next question will be, which is the first team to trade back in the draft? And I think the first team could be New England, depending on the types of offers that they get. They're more inclined to stay at 3 and not move out of that spot. The signs point to Jaden Daniels going 2. That would leave New England on the clock. They might like Drake Maye. They might like J.J. McCarthy. Certainly Minnesota would like to get one of these quarterbacks as well. And so we'll see how that shakes out, with the Patriots being the first potential trade back, the Cardinals at 4, a potential trade back, and the Chargers. And then what's the connection between Drake Maye and J.J. McCarthy? Greeny, here's what I would say. Right now, it certainly seems like these two quarterbacks are destined to wind up in one way or another with New England and Minnesota. Minnesota and New England, whichever way you want to slice it up. Does Minnesota get up to 3 or not? Does New England stay at 3 or not? Does New England take Drake Maye at 3? Does it trade back and try to get J.J. McCarthy? It feels like those two teams are vying over those two particular quarterbacks, and we will get to see how this all shakes out once you arrive to Detroit and we get going tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'll be there. RC will be the whole crew. We're coming on after the show today. But let's talk more about Maye for a minute, because a team you did not mention in that is the Giants. And our Giants reporter, Jordan Renan, on his podcast, went through a scenario in which the Giants could be in play for Drake Maye.
The Giants are looking into trading up in the draft. Number 3 with the New England Patriots, number 4 with the Arizona Cardinals. Those are the two sweet spots. Number 4 still seems more likely to me, but when you talk to league sources, the belief is that if the Giants move up, and they do trade, and they're trying to trade up, it's for Drake Maye.
Schefter, what are we hearing there?
Well, here's the issue with that. The Giants would have to trade up to get to number 3. I don't think Drake Maye is going to be on the board at number 4. So 4 becomes a moot point, and I think it limits the Cardinals' leverage some. So we're talking about 3, and Minnesota also is going to want to get up. And which is the more desperate quarterback team, Minnesota or New York? I would say Minnesota. Which is the team that has an extra first-round draft choice? Minnesota. So Minnesota is better armed, more desperate than the Giants at 6. I think the Giants have done a ton of work into the quarterbacks, but it feels like they would take a quarterback if it worked out for them in the right situation. I don't know that they're going to take this big swing at a quarterback when they have these other needs as well, and they already paid Daniel Jones a year ago. Could it happen? Absolutely. That's part of the fascination of the draft. But the Vikings are better armed, more desperate, more anxious to make that move, and we'll see whether the Giants can figure out a way to get in front of them, or New England, to take Drake Maye. But I think the signs point to Drake Maye going 3 right now, so the Giants would have to get there.
All right, well put. I'm told you have a call to take, so go take that, then break a story in a minute with us here. Schefter, there's no more exciting sentence than Schefter has a call to take. So let him do that, and he'll be with us as the morning goes on. What do we think of this? You got Minnesota wants up. The Giants want up. The Patriots control that, basically, right? The Patriots get to decide if they stay where they are or move out. How do you see it?
Well, I think, though, if you're the New England Patriots, you have to look at yourself and say, we aren't just a quarterback away. There's a ton that we have to do on this team to put us back at playoff caliber play. And so I want to see what teams are willing to offer to get up and get Drake Maye. I want to see what you'd want if you want to get up and get J.J. McCarthy. You have a guy like Jacoby Brissett who started in this league. He's been experienced in this league. He understands leadership. Gerard Mayo should have the leash and the leverage to build a football team. So hell yeah, I want you to call. I want you to make sure you let me know what you're willing to give. I'm trying to get a Trey Lance plus sort of haul for one of these quarterbacks. But when you listen to what we're hearing from Schefter about the New York Giants, they aren't really working to get in that spot. And right now, you got Hyatt, Slayton, Robinson. It don't matter who the quarterback is. He ain't got nobody to throw to.
Right.
It don't matter who the quarterback is. Ain't nobody to protect him. And so maybe you should start building a team so when you do get a quarterback, he has an opportunity to succeed.
You know, when you brought up the point about the Patriots, we've been talking about, like, the Patriots don't really have an infrastructure right now to really support a rookie quarterback right now. And you got Jacoby Brissett. If you're able to get one of these desperate teams to move up and give you a king's ransom, for that, I mean, that to me makes the most sense in the world. But as far as, I want to go back to Drake Maye. Like, Drake Maye, the prospect, and we talk about the New York Football Giants. I think people don't understand this one aspect. And Ryan, we were talking about this in the production meeting. Like, Drake Maye seems like the forgotten quarterback. We talked about all these other guys except Drake Maye. Drake Maye comes from an athletic family. Both his mom and pop were really good athletes. He's a very good multi-sport athlete, which, by the way, people value that. Like, evaluators value guys that are really good in multiple sports. And I think I think going to a place like the Giants, and you talked about the Giants, and trust me, they don't have a lot to support him. But I will say they do have Daniel Jones. You let Daniel Jones play while at the same time continue to build.
You want Daniel Jones to be somebody tutor?
No.
You trying to fail the class.
No, what I want is I want Brian Daboll to be the tutor, because you know who Brian Daboll's with? Josh Allen.
Right.
For sure.
Let me throw a different thought at you here, and I like the way you're thinking. There is a scenario, I don't know how likely this is, maybe Schefter could tell us, but where the first 5 picks in some order are Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake Maye, Joe Alt, the tackle, and Marvin Harrison Jr. That would leave the Giants choosing between taking the quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, or taking wide receiver Malik Neighbors, who people love out of LSU. If you're there, which one do you do?
To me, you take wide receiver Malik Neighbors. Now, I think we have
not the quarterback.
Not the quarterback. Not the quarterback. You gotta love the quarterback, right? The last time this team picked at 6, Daniel Jones was sitting there, and they picked Daniel Jones because that's the quarterback that they had to take. That's the quarterback that they settled on, and that's the reason you're in this position again. Let's not let history repeat itself. People say that success leaves footprints. Well, you know what else? Failure leaves chalked out bodies, right? So let's make good decisions based on what we've seen in our history. If the quarterback's your guy, you get him. If he's not, you pick a good player at that position.
I think that's
could be a linchpin.
The biggest thing Ryan said is, like, you got to love that guy.
Yeah.
Like, you got to love the guy.
I like that. I like that expression a lot. Everyone stay where you are. Schefter's with us this morning. He's got news to come. I've got to get him on this. Could Jim Harbaugh actually be contemplating reuniting with J.J. McCarthy? There is sneaky